A Perfect Storm, Part 1. Ah, my beloved bats, if they could perch on my shoulder, I'd welcome a raven on one and a bat on the other for all the days of my death. Why don't people like bats? For the same reason they dislike me, my raven, my cloak, my scythe. Sometimes a family hangs like bats, seat belted in their car, barrel rolling through the air at 81 miles per hour. My raven described this to me a moment ago. We are approaching the accident scene, the accident happening now on the newly tarred Forester Highway. How could this perfect storm happen to the Glitters? I hear you thinking. Well, speed for starters. Speed kills. Even when a single car travels close to the speed limit from the suburbs to the city centre. 81 miles per hour along the broad, newly tarred Forester Highway on an icy, late autumn morning. Hamlet growled, triggering Bella. Come on, doggos. It's just Mrs. Owl. Chelsea hugged the dirty bird with the eye patch. Mom, turn up the heater. I'm freezing. It's only supposed to be autumn. Why did you bring it into the car, Chelsea? Said Audrey from the passenger seat. You should have left it in the trunk with the other toys. Mrs. Owl is not an it. She's a she. And it's my last ride with her ever. That's why. The girl popped the owl in front of Felix. Peekaboo! The boy gasped and dropped his chewed toy onto his stomach. He started wailing, blood rising in his cheeks in direct proportion to his volume. There, beautiful boy, Thomas said, reaching out to the boy, finger drumming on the rim of the baby seat, his other hand on the steering wheel. Audrey put Thomas's hand back on the wheel and rubbed her son's leg. The dog's already ripped out one eye, Chelsea, she said. You can't donate it to the children's home without eyes. Correction, cannot donate her to the children's home, Audrey, Mom. I'll keep Mrs. Owl safe. You do that. Chelsea stuffed the one-eyed bird between her brother's baby seat and the door. The boy tugged at Mrs. Owl's wing, drooling. He lost interest because Mrs. Owl stood her ground, so he refocused on his chew toy. Goodness, the two of you were inseparable, Thomas said, appearing in the mirror. I wouldn't go to bed without her. You flew on her back to dreamland every single night. With Mr. Whiskers, Chelsea stared at the late autumn trees, raining red, yellow, and brown leaves. Maybe that's where your cat learned his bird-catching trade, hey? Thomas waited in the mirror. Chelsea rolled her eyes, avoiding her father's gaze. When should we drop off the toys at the children's home? Audrey asked. Now, Chelsea pounced. Let's get it over and done with. Let's do it after the party, said Thomas. We don't want to miss out on the first slice of cake and singing happy birthday now, do we? Good point, love, Audrey said, putting a hand on his leg. Whatever, Chelsea replied, folding her arms. Bella stood against Chelsea's leg, growling at the owl between Felix and the door. Bella, down, the girl commanded. Felix gnawed on his chew toy, cooing like a babbling brook. How's our little hippo, eh? Chelsea asked, grabbing his hand and exposing her bottom teeth. Where's a woo-woo? There's a woo-woo, the boy crowed with laughter. Say Chelsea? Cha-see, he parroted. And we have a winner. Felix's Glitter's first word is Chelsea for the 1000th time. The girl tickled her brother's foot and he burst into belly laughter. Mom, how old is Grandpa Tom? We don't care, girl, Thomas twinkled in the mirror. We're just going for the cake. Hey, nicknames. Chelsea shot daggers at her father and flipped her sweater hood over her head. He's 74, eh? Audrey said. Yep. Let's get some party music going. Thomas fiddled with the entertainment system. I'll be the DJ, thank you, Audrey replied, guiding his hand to the steering wheel. I like what you've done with your hair, DJ Audrey, love. Audrey flashed a look at her husband and gasped. Eyes on the road, Thomas. Beatles, Thomas drummed the steering wheel and then tapped the volume button. Quick, text Mom. It's Obla di Obla da. Bellissima. Somebody kill me now, Chelsea said, covering her ears. Next time, I'm bringing my own music. What was that, Chelsea? Thomas asked, waiting in the mirror, but his daughter maintained her autumn viewing pose with arms folded. Oh, just forget it, Chelsea said, patting the dogs. Audrey texted her last message to her mother-in-law before the Glitters Perfect Storm. She joined her husband for head-bobbing karaoke about Desmond and Molly liking each other, holding hands, and then merrily singing the chorus, ending in hopeful celebration of a life that keeps going on. What's wrong with the oldies, Chelsea? Thomas tapped his daughter's ankle. Hello, it's literally ancient, and it distracts me from the now. Can't argue with that, said Thomas before rejoining the singing. Felix whimpered at Sleep's door, which is right next to and almost identical to Death's door. Audrey unclipped her seatbelt, activating the bleeping seatbelt warning. She turned around and spread her knees to silence the seat weight sensor. Keep it steady, love, she said, patting Thomas's shoulder before tucking in their son's blanket. Mama, the boy babbled, arms reaching for her. See? Mama is his first word, Audrey said to Chelsea, who rolled her eyes. And it's not the first time he said it. Felix fell asleep at the sight of his mother before the accident. She put the chew toy under his hand for when he wakes again. Chelsea put her hand under her sleeping brother's finger and smiled as they instinctively curled around her index finger. Why is Hamlet wearing the pink leash and Bella the yellow? Audrey asked, her sunglasses perched on her head like a headband. Easy. I want them to learn that pink can be for boys too. Oh, I love that. How's the pearl? Audrey said, pointing at her daughter's brow. Just perfect, thank you. Chelsea smiled at the reflection of her eyebrow pearl in the window and proudly triple-tapped it. No more pain. Audrey's knee reactivated the seat sensor. Felix whimpered. Thomas let go of the steering wheel and spoke into a cupped hands megaphone. Ladies and little gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please fasten your seat belts. Beep, beep, beep. Please, Mom, the beeping with the music and DJ Dad makes me want to triple vomit. Chelsea half stuck a finger into her mouth with her tongue out. Just a moment. Almost done, Audrey said, gently squeezing the sleeping boy's hand. She turned, sat down, and fastened her seatbelt, killing the beeping. Did you know, Thomas asked, that dogs experience colors differently from humans? Is this another lecture, Professor Glitter? Chelsea replied. A lecture in gliterature, no less. Would you like one, girl? Nicknames! Chelsea's eyes became cat-shaped slits. He put his hands together, eyes appearing in the rearview mirror. Apologies, Your Majesty, Miss Chelsea Glitter. Audrey gasped and grabbed the driverless wheel. Thomas Glitter, she exclaimed. Aye, aye, Captain. Just trying out my hands-free kit. He covered his wife's slim fingers on the steering wheel. Audrey's phone buzzed. Hey, it's Mom's text, and they're dancing. Ah, that takes me back, eh? They always used to dance to the radio on the weekends, Thomas said, putting an arm around his wife. Both hands on the wheel, Professor, she purred. Come on, love. Let's live a little. We're the only car on the road as far as the eye can see. It's like they built this highway just for us. Maybe everyone's staying indoors because of the weather. He checked the speedometer, thinking 81 miles per hour is less than 10 above the speed limit. He eyed his daughter in the mirror, extended his arm and patted her lower leg. Chelsea squeezed her father's hand without making eye contact, their last touch before the accident. The girl smiled. Thomas rejoined his wife for a chorus of Obla-Dee. What's up with this mist? Audrey frowned. It's so in between. I think it's fog, though. Thomas lingered in the mirror. Hey, beautiful Chelsea Glitter. His last thought before the perfect storm drowned out everything. Audrey pointed to vacant land and spoke her last words to her husband as he lingered in the mirror. Do you know what they're planning to develop? Then, as if someone pressed the fast-forward button in the land of the living, deadly things happened in rapid succession. I will therefore show what happened in slow motion. Loose gravel, courtesy of an earlier construction vehicle. Ice crystals on the road due to the freezing weather and air moisture levels. A mother gasping at a squirrel in the road, or was it a tortoise? A father that had lingered in the mirror, yanking the steering wheel. Tires skidding on iced gravel. Wheels hitting the curb. Screams, yells, barks, silence. An Obla-Di Obla-Da chorus from the concert quality surround sound entertainment system. The Formula One technology blue family car barrel rolled into the air like a fighter jet. The rev counter shot into the red, the vehicle screaming with the glitters. The seatbelts tightened, just as Veronica, the sales lady, had promised, with her navy blue corporate wear and carefully practiced hearty laughter. Airbags and multiple crumple zones waited, engineered to save lives. Only some of the 6 lives in the vehicle, unfortunately. With the family car belly up in the air, the family hung like bats, wearing seatbelts in a cave. Chelsea's hair flopped down, caught by her sweater's hood. Felix's chew toy dropped to the roof. Mrs. L kept standing her ground between Felix's baby seat and the door. Audrey's sunglasses tumbled to the roof, followed by her hair flopping downward. Thomas's curls dangled, and his pen dropped downward from his shirt pocket. A pink Jack Russell leash shot to the roof like a rainbow tree's frog's tongue. Yes, for the briefest of moments, the Glitter family, humans, dogs, and the one-eyed Mrs. L were more or less okay together, upside down in mid-air, in the land of the living.